Dr. Nardi here, back with another video. And if you haven't done so already, please like, subscribe, and share this video. All right, so today we are going to talk about action potentials. Now, an action potential is just an abrupt, about 1 millisecond, sequence of depolarization and hyperpolarization of the neural membrane. And really what this does, it allows a neuron to communicate over long distances. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, maybe not, what are the steps of an action potential? Well, the membrane rapidly depolarizes to approximately plus 30 or about plus 40 millivolts. This is when sodium channels open and sodium ions enter the cell, making the electrical charge inside the cell more positive. The sodium channels then close and potassium channels open. Both the diffusion and the electrostatic pressure force potassium out. As potassium leaves the cell, it briefly becomes slightly hyperpolarized, which is about negative 80 millivolts, and that's relative to the resting state. Then the potassium channels close, and the membrane returns to the resting potential as ions disperse and the voltage dissipates across the axon under the myelin. The membrane is depolarized by a series of graded potentials. The membrane is about depolarized to about 10 millivolts. It's more positive than the resting potential, and we call this the threshold voltage. Propagation of an action potential is all or none, meaning you see a full depolarization and hyperpolarization or nothing at all. This propagation eventually depolarizes the membrane farther down the axon past the threshold, producing a non-decremental action potential. This means it does not lose intensity or strength as it progresses down the axon. The amplitude of an action potential is always the same and does not change with the intensity of the initiating stimuli. A couple other things to keep in mind is that the segment of an axon that has just produced an action potential has reduced or zero responsiveness to subsequent graded potentials. We call this the refractory period. Now, the relative refractory period is a few milliseconds after the absolute refractory period. During the absolute refractory period, the sodium channels cannot reopen, and therefore the axon segment cannot fire again. This forces an action potential to travel in one direction along the axon. So neural communication, the electrical impulse only travels down the axon, not back up the axon, because of this absolute refractory period. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment below, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye.